This is Plantsville, Connecticut. It feels kind of like a blend of standard suburban USA, splash of quaint New England mixed in here, and Plantsville has its charm. It's got a small ski resort, some lovely parks, the Farmington River Canal Trail, which we basically just walked past, fall apple harvest. Plantsville also has something I just like to call access. 2 hours to New York, Boston, decent rail connections. But this evening, we're here for dinner. This is Noto Americano. Chef Nick LaRosas and his team have something special here. And this is probably the best plate of Alfredo I've had in an extremely long time. Also, I mean, come on, look at those shrimp. Like, they're perfect, picture perfect, stark crimson against that pale eggshell sauce. Ugh. So I'm spoiled when it comes to pasta, very happy to say that, and I'm incredibly spoiled when it comes to Italian food. My sister and I basically first learned to make noodles before we could ride two-wheel bikes. My dad would make homemade sauces multiple times a week, meat sauce, his famous fish sauce, Alfredo sauce, my sister's favorite when we were kids. So what makes an incredible dish of Alfredo? Well, the real magic is in the sauce. In my opinion, a delicious Alfredo should celebrate the star ingredient of Parmesan. And the cheese is king, frankly. That's why you use the king of cheeses, Parmesan. The dish originates basically from Rome-ish, and the original recipe is just butter, fettuccine, and Parmesan cheese. But a great Alfredo sauce takes some technique to master. If you reduce it down too much, it becomes thick, like a macaroni and cheese, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's not Alfredo. Oh, wait a second, hang on. Something entirely magical happens here by accident. See how that shrimp is up at the front of the plate? Ooh, a little dab of some noodle on there. Unctuous sauce on top. See that cling? So basically, the camera focuses in on this piece of shrimp at the front, and we sort of lose focus on the rest of the plate. But just give it a quick second here. And slowly, but zoop. Oh, yeah, straight back into the Alfredo waiting pool to spread its Cajun rouge here and there. Goodness gracious. Oh, my gosh, did you see this? Oh, my God, the cling, the string of cheese. Goodness. We'll come back to the shrimp in just a moment here. Since we're talking about the subject of sort of a stick-to-your-ribs type of sauce, which is what an Alfredo sauce is, make no mistake. For beverage, think bubbly and effervescent to wash down a healthy meal like this. I went for a nice little limoncello spritz from the menu. It was outstanding. Basically, bubbly, bright. It cut right through this decadence brilliantly and sort of let me reset my palate in between bites. Again, I just want to call this out. When you're making a good Alfredo, the right thickness of the sauce is key. We were saying before, too thick, it becomes mac and cheese. Too thin, you've got a creamy soup. You know, great Alfredo should coat your fork. It should coat the noodles. It should coat every part of your esophagus on the way down. Hopefully you can see some of these cheesy strings dangling on occasion here. Now, besides the sauce, the right macaroni can make or break the meal. You might argue that there's no wrong noodle for Alfredo, and I think on the whole I would agree. But there is such a thing as the right noodle. For many dishes, not just Alfredo. These little beauties you see on the plate before you are called radiatore. Lovely Italian word, quite literally translating to radiator. Radiatore. It's very fun to say. Practice that. You'll enjoy it. Almost as toothsome as the pasta itself. This might be frankly, the best example of the right noodle for the right pasta dish that I've had the pleasure of eating in recent memory. Those Italian pasta artisans were ingenious in the design of the radiatore. The fins are like perfectly spaced. Oh, to sop up that rich yet delicately balanced sauce. Now, pace yourself when eating an Alfredo. A little touch up here and there. You can see I'm a bit of a fastidious eater. But pace yourself. Don't rush the meal. Take your time. Let those flavors meld. Protein also is not like a requirement for this dish, frankly, far from it. The original recipe doesn't include anything other than butter, cheese, and pasta. That's the OG. But, we Americans can't really help ourselves sometimes, and we just sort of have to improvise over the existing music. The lovely melodies Chef Nick and his team chose here basically are a spectacular Cajun seasoned shrimp. I have two favorite seasoning combinations when it comes to Alfredo. I have a love of lemon pepper from when I was a young lad working in a restaurant. One of the chefs first made me a plate of Alfredo with a nice thin sliced piece of lemon pepper chicken on top. It was mind-blowing. It'd change your life. The other is featured here. A sharp, peppery punch in that Cajun that just lifts the rest of the dish. I'll tell you, if you're going to modify a classic recipe, this is the way to do it. But there's more to it here. It's not just the right seasoning. It's not just the perfectly cooked shrimp. It's really an understanding of how each of the flavors will unite into a sort of single vision on the plate. You can kind of see as I've been cutting through the shrimp, mingling the pieces amongst the macaroni, the sauce starts to change. That's pretty magical. By the time we reach the end of the dish, the sauce looks almost entirely different from when I started. And it tastes a little different, too. Each bite was slightly different. Sometimes I can't eat an entire meal of pasta, but today was a different day. Simply put, this dish is what mastering your craft looks like. So, again, I want to thank Chef Nick. I want to thank everyone at Noto. Incredibly welcoming, lovely people. The food is outstanding. The beverage delicious. If you like Italian food, even a little bit, I think you owe this place a visit. I won't make you watch the entire rest of me eating this whole plate of pasta. I'm proud to say I cleaned this bad boy out. But next time you're in the neighborhood, stop by Noto Americano. Thanks for watching.